In this video, I'm going to go ahead and go over the configuration for BYOD using ICE generated certificates. This one, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what I already configured on my for guest wireless. So I deleted the last WLAN and just kind of kept the one that we set up before, just this one. Now, just to be aware, you can do BYOD in the sense where you can have someone log in with their AD account and just on a splash page and be given access for a certain amount of time. But that's, they'll have to re-log in eventually. So what you can do instead is you can have them log in, get a certificate, and log into another SSID with that certificate. Bear in mind, if you are going to be doing like EAP or any sort of EAP on an SSID, it has to be a separate SSID than your guest portal, and that's a wireless limitation. You can only have one mode of authentication or type of authentication on a given SSID. Now, if you were all these things with guest and portals and stuff that we're doing here, you can do them in your you can do them on wired as well. It's just kind of easier to show because I have one PC that's my guest PC, but you by all means you can set this up without a problem with on wired as well. The same concept, you just would be redirecting to a guest ACL, which we created in our original switch configuration. So if I go over here really quickly, and you have to make sure that include IP HTTP, that both IP HTTP server and secure server are enabled, and I have authentication local, but on my other switch I actually have it turned off and disabled to for local sessions. Show run include IP HTTP. And the only reason I have it turned on this one is because I'm playing with the Denali code. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, you can make sure that it can't be managed from locally at all. But in the case of my other switch, I don't have those settings because I do like playing around with the switch config. I'm doing some testing, but I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. But in the newer switch code 16.x, there's actually an HTML5 GUI, and it's pretty nice to look at. It's not like a centrally managed GUI. It doesn't replace Prime or APIC EM, but by all means, if you're just trying to configure a switch and you've got, you have a small business, it's really, or doing some like the some of the application visibility information, it's a pretty nice little GUI to look at. So I actually don't think I've configured any of the application visibility, so let me go ahead and turn that on really quickly on everything. So I'm going to go ahead and enable it on, let's see, face. Looks like I've configured, I just don't have any traffic going through there right now. So yeah, you can, it's a nice little GUI if you wanted to use this for anything with your switching, but again, it doesn't replace like a central manager. I just like playing around with it and testing it out. And again, you won't do this in production probably because you'll have something like Prime, but if you have one or two switches you have to configure, it's not a bad way to do it if you're not a CLI junkie. Granted, I like the CLI better, but that's because I was kind of raised on that in the networking world. So back to the BYOD policy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own identity source sequence. So I go to administration, identity source sequences, and I'm going to create one for kind of my device portal. So I'm going to let me make sure there's not one pre-created. Oh, there's one pre-created. So let me see. So we've got AD and internal users. I'll just move AD up there. Click save. And let's check the guest portal sequence. Save. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to BYOD, portals and components, my device portal sequence. And this is kind of to take a look at your registered devices and whatnot. And I'm going to make sure that so the endpoint identity group will be that after someone logs in and authenticates and onboards this, it'll be the registered device group. We made sure that the my device portal sequence has AD on top. Under BYOD portals, I'm just using the default one on this. I don't really need to change much. So portal settings looks like registered devices again. That's pretty easy. BYOD. You can require acceptance. So pretty easy stuff. Now I'm going to use the internal CA for ISE. If you ever want to take a look at how this, it comes configured out of the box. There's no really hard way to do it here. I mean, if you go, I haven't made any changes here. If I go to internal CA settings, there's I see my ISE node. I see the pre-made certificate template, which is the CA service template. Yeah, so this is pre-made template with ISE's template. It's pretty easy. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tie this back to my already created portal. So I'm going to go over to portals and components for a guest. I'm going to go to the portal that was previously created, the only one that's available right now. And let's go ahead and go to BYOD settings. Now, you see the flow here. Now, if I said allow and employees to use their personal devices, it creates this whole guest BYOD flow right here. If you can allow them not to onboard and allow guest access only, but we'll just go ahead and say, registered devices. And if we want to configure what employees are allowed access, anything like that, we can get into nitty-gritty and change, like make sure that only certain AD users can do it. But I'm gonna keep it kind of simple. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to configure kind of like the native supplicant profile. So let's go to policy elements, and we're gonna go to results and client provisioning resources. And we're going to go ahead and click add and native supplicant profile. So this is going to be just wireless. Now you can create them for a wired profile and a wireless profile, but in this case, and you can specify the operating system. So I'm just going to put Windows wireless and pick Windows all. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tie it to the SSID, which is, I think, a security demo guest. Actually, this is going to be security demo .1x, yet to be configured. And let's see. We're going to allow protocol is going to be TLS. That's going to be ETLS. We can configure some optional ones. I'm not really going to worry about that. If you wanted to create a user computer certificate, and I'm just going to use the built-in EAP for the Cisco CA. But I think this is pretty much it, all that I would need to do. Now I'm going to go back to policy, client provisioning. And I'm going to go ahead and make a quick change to Windows. Let's go ahead and create a, say Windows all, and the condition is it's coming in on wireless device. Device type equals wireless controller. Go ahead and want to get really specific, I can just say called station ID ends with and that was security demo guest. Actually, you know what? I'll just leave it at right now at this, just wireless. And I'm not gonna choose an agent. I don't think I need an agent. All I need to do is configure my Win wireless here. And I think that should be enough. Yeah, I have to pick a wizard, so let me go ahead and pick one. 2.2, done, save. All right, so that's tied to that, and let's see. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create some policy conditions. So some results authorization profiles. So let's see. Should be able to grab that already with the guest profile, so I'm not really going to worry about that. What I will do is make sure that it has, let's see, let's go ahead and go to, I already have a permit access, I believe. So it should be fine with permit access. So I'm going to go back to policy sets really quickly and go to security demo guest, and let's go ahead and just add a rule up above here. Actually, sorry, it's been a while since I've done this. Yes, let's go ahead and actually create a new SSID for .1x specifically. So let me go ahead and go into here and create that. So WLAN2 will be security demo .1x. Same thing, apply, and we're going to enable that. Looks like this is all configured correctly. We're going to make sure that the ISE is configured for that. And over here, DHCP address sign, radius NAC, and of course we want to make sure that our radius profiling is turned on. Perfect. So I believe that that matches the client provisioning we set up over here. Yep, perfect. Now we're going to create a policy set for our new SSID. So create above, and this is going to be, you know, security demo .1x wireless. Quick and dirty. We'll just go ahead and say, you know, if it's coming from wireless device, and the radius called station is that. Or ends with that SSID name. Done. And we're going to go ahead and create a rule for simple .1x. .1x Condition is going to be select existing condition from library. We're going to select one of the existing one, which is wireless 802.1x. We're just going to go ahead and, I mean, I could lock this down to just EPTLS, but I'm going to start out with default network access, and just, I know that that's in there as well. We're going to go ahead and, say, insert above, ISE CA, enter condition, network access, authentication method equals certificate. We're going to go ahead and check preloaded certificate profile, and we'll go ahead and also add just put all user identity stores for now, done. And right above here, I'm going to go ahead and put BYOD registered. We're going to say, maybe say create new condition. Network access, authentication equals EPTLS, and add another condition. Say endpoints BYOD registration equals yes. And then we're going to go ahead and grant access. Done. All right, so let's test this out really quickly. Moment of truth. We may have some troubleshooting on our hands because I didn't really test this out ahead of time, but and it's been a while since I've played around on this, but it's okay. I'm okay with a little bit of troubleshooting. Let's go ahead and connect to security demo guest. Let's get redirected. We're going to go ahead and enter a AD username. BYOD portal, and we're going to call this test guest BYOD. Continue. All right, so now it's going to download the network assistant, which will just walk me through the installation of the certificate, and trusting ISE as a CA root. Yes. Woohoo! I am now configured for secure access, and I'm on my guest, my .1x. So awesome. Woohoo! All right, that was awesome mostly because I hadn't done this in honestly a year, and I guess it's like riding a bike. The awesome thing about this as well is you have a lot of flexibility. If you wanted to do this for wired, really the only change is you go back to results, client provisioning. You can go down to your wireless, your WIN wireless native supplicant we configured. If let's say you wanted to add a wired profile, same thing. TLS, yeah, and you make sure that you're under your client provisioning that you have that configured. You also can do this for for Apple as well, and create some pretty granular rules. Let's say this endpoint was stolen, and you wanted to make sure that it was revoked, and it wasn't, anyone who picked up this endpoint didn't just get access to your network. You can go down to issued certificates. Oh, there's Catherine. Her device got stolen. Stolen device. Revoke that. Cut it off my network. I don't want it on anymore. So what happens to Catherine? She should be kicked off fairly shortly on the next reauth period. And I can also, let's see. So I could also force a reauth really quickly. So I might not be checking the certificate to see that it's canceled, but if you wanted to boot her off, fake me off, easier way to do that is to just go ahead and pull up my name really quickly. Username. Let's find my host. Looks like it's right there. Let's go ahead and change authorization, terminate. So thank you guys so much for watching, and again, I hope this was useful for you.